and you also notice the back of that tailgate's missing.
It is.
Yeah.
So it's a very distinctive truck, right?
Right.
If you had seen it, you probably would take notice of it. Missing a tailgate, perhaps some damage to the side window,
Right.
and then that paper plate. And we have covered that extensively. How big of an issue that is in Harris County. Those paper plates making it really difficult for officers to figure out what's going on. Now, this truck is getting into some traffic now. You're looking at Windfirm and Fallbrook Drive. That's kind of that intersection if you're familiar with this part of Northwest Houston. These cars are blocking him in right now, so he's not in a good spot. They're starting to continue now on. The truck is going through kind of an intersection area right now, picking up speed again. So who knows how long they're going to be able to keep up like this.
And you always hold your breath when they go through an intersection
Yeah.
like that, because you never know if they're going to run a red light or what's
Exactly.
going to happen, something like that. Thankfully, that one was okay. Have you noticed, because I'm just jumping in, are the police behind this vehicle? Have
We
you
are
seen
zoomed
police
in
activity?
so closely. They
Yeah.
were on Fairbanks, I would say probably about 7 or 8 minutes ago. And at that point, I could see several units that were on this driver's tail. They went off on a couple of country roads,
Right.
gravel roads, and then they've gotten back onto a main road out here. Since that point that they've gotten back onto a main road, I haven't seen those officers on this driver's tail. So I'm not sure at this point how close they may be in proximity, if they are in fact still chasing this driver. But Sky Eye is keeping a close watch on this driver as they start really weaving in and out of traffic. We're off of a major highway now, Nick.
Yeah, they're on the feeder road, looks like of the Beltway there. And as the camera pulls back, you can't see any police activity behind him, but it is almost 4 o'clock.
Yeah.
So traffic, especially if you've driven on the Beltway, I know you have, it gets busy this
Yeah.
time of day. So
And now you're dealing with drivers. If you don't have flashing lights or sirens, they may not even be aware that they're surrounded by perhaps a chase out here.
right, and you can see it doesn't look like he's moving too fast compared to he's flowing in with the rest of traffic
right.
here.
And that may be making things a little more difficult for officers as well. Okay, we're zooming out a good bit. I don't see any sign of any officers out there anymore trying to catch up with this truck.
And you have to wonder if he's going to pull onto the Beltway here. It looks like he's going to go
And the U-turn
in
lane.
underneath the feeder here. It looks like at Anton and the Beltway.
Okay, so they're changing up their direction. We're going to lose sight of them for a little bit as they go underneath the highway. And here's that truck. Take a look at your screen. They're turning around now on the Beltway, joining in, merging here with the other traffic going, which direction is this now?
It looks like southbound.
Southbound. And you have to have a bit of concern, of course, for those other drivers out there. Unclear whether they may be aware that this person is trying to evade officers, trying to evade police. We still don't know, if you're just joining us, what prompted this police chase, why this person is running, but we're looking at that black truck there along the Sam Houston Toll Road. They're evading police at this point in time. We don't know why.
No, and you know, he is moving at a high rate of speed, but it's not, you know, anything that is, if you were driving down the road,
Right.
you would necessarily think that this vehicle would be involved in a chase, but he is a little bit more erratic there. Look at him right in the middle of the lane.
lanes.
Yeah,
That's dangerous.
it is, absolutely. And
We
we'll
are
see-
continuing to hope that this ends without anybody getting hurt or put in danger. But yeah, you're right, Nick. They're starting to pull some maneuvers that aren't necessarily safe.
No, and you can see him merging now, sitting in traffic with people coming off the Beltway.
Oh boy,
as he
here
kind
we
of,
go.
Yep. He's trying to make his way even
Yeah.
further down the road there.
This is a sticky spot because, Nick, this is a hugely trafficked, of course, area. This is the Beltway. They're on the feeder right now, but
Yeah.
still, traffic is going to be picking up out here.
It's the Beltway and Gessner, so you know this time of day is incredibly busy in that part of it.
And
And
they're
now
about
he looks
stuck.
like he's boxed in right now.
This is usually a time when these chases get hot that the driver hops out. Okay, so you see he's actually gotten off the road, going onto the grass.
Oh,
This is extremely dangerous. They're getting a bit desperate because of the congestion in this area.
Well, you can see him. He hopped the curb right
Yeah,
there, going
yeah.
underneath the Beltway,
And now he's going
back up
north.
northbound. Yeah, on the feeder, trailing right along the Beltway there. Again, you can't see officers here at this point, but we do know at one point they were following this vehicle.
Yeah.
It looks like he's getting on the Beltway right now.
Okay, so he is getting ready to merge with traffic on the Sam Houston Toll Road, where this has the potential to become really dangerous.
Yeah.
You'll see there's a lot of traffic out here, a lot of drivers, and we are still wondering how far away police may be.
Well, he was weaving out of traffic. I mean, you saw him. He pulled up on the curb there just moments ago. And now he's going on the Beltway, which is usually even more congested than those feeder roads. Look at him. Let's see what he does if he stays on or tries to get
Take
off.
the exit.
Right. It looks like he's trying to get on. But he's getting boxed in there.
Right. He doesn't have a whole lot of options.
He's trying to curb in and out.
And again, you have to wonder how aware these drivers may or may not be.
Probably have no idea.
Right.
I mean, it's Houston merging into traffic. You deal with people trying to
And
come
here
in
they-
last
here
minute,
they
but look
go.
how
Here
dangerous
they
this
go.
guy is. Yeah.
Okay, so they are now merged fully onto Beltway 8. This is near Fairbanks. Beltway 8 and Fairbanks, traveling north, I believe. You're looking at the Hollister Antoine exit as this
Yeah, they're
truck.
approaching 249.
Oh, boy.
But he's getting
Okay,
off
they're getting
before-
off
Oh, and
again.
he just
He's almost
missed
clipped
that
that
barricade.
driver.
Yeah, I know. And almost hit the barricade there, too. That bumper as you're getting off. It looks like 249 now. So he's at the Beltway and 249. And this, if you've gone that intersection right here, this is always a tight space because it's only one lane to get onto 249
Yep.
from Beltway 8. So it's always makes me a little nervous, and I can't imagine seeing someone weaving in and out like that as they're coming onto the Beltway. But, you know, we noticed that this may have a paper plate, no
Some
tailgate,
damage, right.
damage to the window. So you have to wonder what is going on through this person's head.
And of course, Nick, we're getting really close to news time.
Right.
We have a broadcast that begins at 4. If you're watching our digital channel, we are going to join the 4 o'clock news in progress. And of course, on air, online, we will keep close eye on this chase happening to bring you the details of what's going on out here.
Yeah, because we don't know how this is going to end, but of course we're going to stay on it so that way we can figure out what goes on, and also hopefully police can bring this to a peaceful ending.
Certainly without anybody getting hurt.
That's right.
That's going to be everyone's desire. Again, the 4 o'clock news is starting in a matter of seconds. We will join that in progress.
Bye-bye, everyone.
Put her on every day. And that's Inside Edition. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.
ABC 13 Eyewitness News at 4. Now, breaking news.
Breaking news right now at 4 o'clock. We want to show you these live pictures from Sky I-13 over this chase in northwest Harris County. Now, this is what we're told by police. They confirm with us this all started on Wirt Road. Police also confirming that they were chasing a man on foot when he got into this black truck. He has been dodging. He has been in and out of traffic as police are on his tracks. They've been following him. Once again, this is in northwest Houston. They're on 249 right now. We have been covering this chase on our 24/7 stream.
Yeah, we have been watching as officers have been trying to stop this driver. An officer even tried to use spike strips to no avail. Right now, Don Armstrong is there in Sky Eye. Don, what can you tell us at this hour?
Well, we're having trouble keeping up with him because we have other helicopters up here with us, and the weather conditions are pretty poor. We're right underneath the cloud deck right now, so it's a little bit difficult. He's a couple of miles ahead of us, and we want to stay out of the way of the Houston police helicopter that's following him as well. But as you can see, taking an exit ramp here off of 249, we'll see where this chase leads us. Speeds have not been excessive, at least so far. Police have been holding back. They tried to put out spike strips just before we went on the air in a U-turn lane, but believe it or not, he managed to avoid the spike strips, and so we still continue to follow this chase. It's a black pickup truck, and it's been modified somewhat, so I really can't tell what brand it is, but it's got a paper plate on the back of it. Window is knocked out on the driver's side, and there's some plastic hanging out of it as well. Kind of a bizarre chase. You know, usually these chases start off slow, and then once they realize that the police are behind them, then they speed up. That has not necessarily been the case in this one. He's going faster than the traffic in the area, but as you can tell, only passing them by maybe 5 or 10 miles an hour. So not quite sure what the deal is with this. We've been all over this northwest part of Harris County, and it continues to be very erratic. No particular place to go, just trying to avoid police. There's a line of police cars, but they're held way back. They must be about at least a quarter mile, maybe a half mile behind the vehicle here. So they're trying to get a handle on this and get ahead of him to put out spike strips, but there's just no telling where he's headed to. We're going to keep on top of this, and we'll let you know if any changes. Back to you guys.
Don, thank you so much. Yeah, again, we've been following this for a while. We were breaking into our 24-hour streaming channel to bring you the latest on this chase. And again, what we know at this point is that police were trying to chase a suspect on foot. Eventually led to this vehicle being chased by police. But again, as Don was mentioning, they're trying to stay quite a ways back because some of these areas are, a lot of folks are driving out and about at this hour. But again, he doesn't seem to be speeding up all too often. It sort of stops for a minute, then he picks up speed, and then it goes from there. So again, police just trying to stop the suspect. We do have our newsroom right now working to find out how this all started.
Yeah, HPD telling us this started on Wirt Road when officers tried to they were chasing this man on foot. Then he suddenly, I guess, jumps back into this black truck, and then that's when this chase started. We want to go back up to Sky Eye right now to Don Armstrong because, Don, before we hit live here at 4 o'clock, we saw the officers put out the spike strips, but this suspect was able to maneuver around those spike strips. And pretty fast here on that side road.
Well, that's right. And, that is a lifted truck. It's much higher than a regular pickup truck. I've lost him. I'm trying to find him again. There he is. It's much higher off the ground than a regular pickup truck. The concrete was actually part of a drainage system underneath that U-turn that he made, but he was able to maneuver that with ease. There was a period of time that he was actually off-roading along the bayou, and clearly police had trouble keeping up with him. Not the helicopter, needless to say, but certainly with the police vehicles on the ground. Again, we're having to keep back quite a ways because there are other helicopters up here with us, including Houston Police, and the weather is not that great. There you go. He's taking a right-hand turn here. And to be honest with you, I can't really tell you what road he's on. But again, this is traveling all through the northwest area of Harris County up here. So if you're out and about or headed out and about, you might want to hold off until this chase comes to an end. It eventually will, just hopefully that it won't be an injury to anybody once it does come to an end.
Yeah, this has been going on for about 2 hours now, just a little after 2 o'clock. They've been chasing the suspect. Yeah,
and it looks like, based on this map, Cudden Road here in northwest Harris County, that road that he's on now, Cudden Road going up there, he actually stopped there in traffic for a little bit at that light and then went around those cars and made the right here on this road, seemingly Cudden Road right there, as he is trying to flee from police. And we're not seeing a lot of police activity around them. You heard Don Armstrong talk about how they're keeping a safe distance right now. Yeah,
and obviously because they want to make sure that they keep that distance so they see where he's going. They do have HPD chopper up there as well trying to pinpoint where he is. But again, it can be a pretty dangerous situation when you see a lot of people right now during rush hour leaving work and trying to get to their home. But again, now still at Cudden Road, and it looks like when he hits these pockets of traffic, he slows down and sort of thinks about what his next move will be, and that's how he's deciding where to go. And police are trying to obviously catch this guy safely and hopefully soon. But again, it's been going on since a little after 2 o'clock today.
Now, Don, when you talk about this area and here at 4 o'clock, we're going to see traffic start to build up here on these streets as this guy is trying to get away from police.
That's right, Chauncey. And the other thing is that I've noticed is that this particular chase, I'm not sure why police are holding back. Typically, you'll find them pretty close to them, at least in an area where they can get a pit maneuver if one is made available to them. And I'm not quite sure why they're holding back. I know that Houston Police Department is in this chase. As far as other law enforcement agencies, I'm not quite sure. Since he's been all over this part of the county, wouldn't surprise me if the sheriff's office is in pursuit of this as well. It's kind of a different kind of chase. We're not doing a high-speed thing here, maybe 40, 50 miles an hour at the most. Yes, we're running red lights and we are going around a lot of traffic, but it's not a crazy chase. And many times when I find these kind of chases, and I've been on a lot of them, sometimes it is a female that is driving. Not say we don't know for sure whether it is a female or a male. Don't know that at this point, but it's a rather unusual chase to say the least.
And Don, I was just about to ask you, it seems like, you know, just looking at your picture that we've had live here, breaking news since 4 o'clock, I haven't seen any police around this truck. Can you give us a wider shot or give us a better vantage point as to where police are?
Well, there they are.
There, okay, there we go. There we see some police behind this black truck.
I believe I believe that's one that's there. I don't want to pull out too far because I don't want to lose the truck.
Right, yeah.
But they are back there, and the Houston police helicopter is telling the ground crews which way to turn, where he is, and all that. So they haven't lost touch with him, and of course neither have we, and we too are in touch with the police helicopter as well. So we're not going to lose this guy, I can tell you that. He'll run out of gas before we do. So it's going to come to an end sooner or later, but right now this is meandering through all of northwest Harris County.
Yeah, Don.
It almost looks like he sees that, you know, the chopper is following him as well. Looks like he's looking out the window, looking up almost at our chopper camera there. But clearly, I'm sure he knows you guys are following closely. So let's just hope this ends soon, peacefully. We hate to see these type of chases because you're on edge. You're so tense, wondering what's going to happen next.
Yeah, Don, it's going to be also interesting to see why police were trying to pull this guy over, or why they were trying to apprehend him in the beginning there on Wirt Road, because normally when we see chases like this, we see officers or police cars in the shot, but they aren't being as aggressive in this chase today, if you will, Don.
And so unusual, and you had mentioned that apparently it started off as a foot chase, and then he got into the truck and fled that way, and clearly we're still on this chase. This has been at least a 30-minute operation here. They're trying to apprehend this guy. We don't know why they were trying to get him in the first place, but clearly something has happened that has afforded him to get into this truck, and we don't know whether it's a stolen truck. We don't know whether the truck is his. We just don't have that kind of information just yet. But here we are out here on Bourgeois and Mitchell Lane in the northwest part of Harris County.
Yeah, and Maida, we also see those paper plates. We know authorities have been cracking down on that recently, and we've been talking a lot about the paper plates on the roads.
Yeah, we've had several reports where it's really tough to see who owns these vehicles because of these paper plates. Oftentimes they're printed out, they're just placed on a vehicle, and you don't know who the true owner of the vehicle is. And of course, this is something that authorities are trying to crack down on. Again, we're not sure if this is the suspect's vehicle. As we mentioned, it did start off as a foot chase and then quickly ended up as a car chase. So we're trying to figure out if this is the suspect's vehicle, or if, you know, if it's happened before, if he possibly carjacked somebody else. But we don't know at this point. Again, we're still just following this chase that started a little after 2 o'clock this afternoon as a foot chase, now as a pursuit. But as Don Armstrong has pointed out, it's not a high speed here, really. Sometimes we see these chases take off and they go on for a good while hitting top speed. But at this point, when he hits certain lights, when he gets into pockets of high traffic, as you can see there, he stops.
And police are pretty close by, so it's going to be interesting as to what happened here, because it's 4:10. Traffic is starting to build up. Right now, he's actually trapped inside of the, in traffic. So police, we thought, were a little closer. There goes an officer. So it's going to be interesting to see how they play this out. Looks like they're going to just wait and let this traffic go through when that light turns. But in the past few minutes, we've been seeing him in this same situation, and the suspect goes around the traffic and hits another road, but he's stuck right here in between these cars as they are waiting, I guess, for this light to turn, while police, you see there, are waiting back. They are not going in at this point, as that suspect is stuck right there in that traffic, and seems to be at a standstill right now.
And Chauncey, you know, the officer's close. He's close to the suspect, but you really have to think about some of the situations we have seen before.
He's right behind him now.
If this suspect is armed or what is going on. So of course, officers have to be careful themselves. It looks like an officer was about to step out, but again, yes, they have to be very strategic, and obviously they train for this so they can do it safely and try to stop this suspect before anything else happens. Oh, there we go. Let's see what happens.
And once again, if you're just now joining us, a chase here in Northwest Harris County. It all started on Wirt Road. Police confirmed with us they were chasing a man on foot when he got into this black truck, and they've been chasing him since. He's been going all through Northwest Houston. He just stopped at that light, and now police are, this is as close as we've seen officers on his track since we started, since we broke into this at 4 o'clock with this chase happening. Once again, this suspect driving through Northwest Harris County as police right there on his tracks.
And right now, officers are trying to give him the benefit of the doubt, if you will, trying to give him a chance to stop and turn himself in. And so we'll see how long this goes on for. But it started at 2:45. One of my producers just told me on my ear here. It started at 2:45, so it is now 4:11. It's been going on for quite a bit. But Don also mentioned this can't go on forever. He will eventually run out of gas. So we'll see what happens at that point, but obviously he's not stopping for officers.
And we want to go back up to Sky Eye, Don Armstrong, and we just saw police right there, right behind this truck. And Don, that's the closest we've seen these officers, so it appears they're becoming a little more aggressive as this chase goes on.
Well, you know, Chauncey, one of the thoughts while you guys were describing all of this that came to my mind was that officer that was basically ambushed trying to perform a traffic stop just a few weeks ago, and the guy pulled the suspect over, and the guy got out of the car and used one of those automatic modified weapons and killed the officer. And I think that may be playing a part in the reason that they're holding back it the way that they are. You just never know what the suspect has, and there's just no way of really being safe when you are pursuing somebody that's clearly trying to get away from you. Desperate people do desperate things, and that's the first thing that comes to my mind as to why the police are holding back and not being more aggressive and trying to pull a pit maneuver on this suspect. Sooner or later, we're going to come out to another situation that we just saw. And now that police are behind him and they've turned the police lights on, I think that there may be another attempt to get the suspect to stop. The other thing is that this particular car that's behind him now, the police car, is kind of what they call a ghost car and isn't easily read by most people as a black and white unit. It may have police on the door, but you really can't make it out from far away. And until he turned on the lights, I'm sure that guy didn't really know for sure whether it was a police officer or not behind him.
And Don, we saw at that last light that this suspect was stopped at, and police were right there behind him. It seemed like at one point the officer on the passenger side opened the door and was about to get out, and then the truck took off again. Then he closed the door. The officer closed the door, and then they started with the chase back. But you got to think about what happened here a few weeks ago with that other involvement with police in Houston's 3rd Ward when you're talking about that suspect when police approached him. And you've got to know that this is on these current events, and what we're seeing in our community here lately is on the minds of these officers. Not only what happened there, but also here lately we've seen some police crashes when they've been on a scene or headed to a scene or you know, in situations similar to this, and a crash has happened, and you know, in hurting innocent drivers on the roads.
It has been a tough time for our law enforcement here in our area. So yes, you're absolutely right. They have to think about their safety as well and the safety of others. But now we have a sheriff's unit, a marked unit there that is also following closely now. But just a few seconds ago, you saw they were in a sort of a business area. It looks like he was just trying to get away from some traffic, and now he's back on FM 1960. So again, this suspect is not stopping. It seems like he has already 2 officers following closely behind him, but still, no desire from his part to stop anytime soon.
Right. And Don,
getting too close to this vehicle here.
Yeah, it looks like he almost collided with that other truck right there. And Don, what's making this even more scary is the time. It's 4:15, so we know the closer it gets to 4:30 and at 5 o'clock, more cars are going to be on the road. And at this point, we do not know what this guy is going to do.
You're right, Chauncey, and if there is any consolation to all of this, at least he's not on a freeway doing 80 miles an hour. We are doing what, relatively speaking, slower speeds here through these side streets. I was going to mention to you that he was going through a parking lot, and usually in these is he going to do a pit maneuver here? Did he do a pit maneuver? Wait a minute, he did. You got him? Can you come around?
He did a pit maneuver. He's not stopping, though.
We
He
did a
keeps
pit
going.
maneuver here. This may be it.
It looks like he's trapped right there on some kind of...
We don't know what's going to happen here, so let me pull out a little bit here.
They're approaching.
You see those officers approaching the truck there with their guns drawn. And this is also in real time when we get to see the danger of these officers' jobs.
Exactly. Within seconds, they have to react this quickly. It looks like he's still in the truck, it seems, not getting out, but you have at least about 6 officers close to that vehicle. From what I can tell, there's also an HPD dog there as well.
Yeah, they're trying to get this suspect to surrender. You see those officers there surrounding this black truck that has been in this chase, and it appears that he will not come out of the truck. He is not obeying their commands here as they are trying to get him to come out. And this is a very dangerous situation,
Extremely.
folks, because we don't know who this suspect is. We don't know if he has a weapon or not. We don't know why he's running. But you see those officers there very close to this truck, and it appears that they may be getting the suspect out of this truck here. I see some activity going on right there by the door, Maida, as they are trying to... There we go.
It looks like they're just pulling him out, right?
Yep.
Okay, now they have him. Several officers tackled him to the ground. So that is a sigh of relief. It seems like they may be handcuffing him at the moment.
Yeah, once again, this is happening on Champion Forest and Old Lodge Drive. This is in northwest Harris County, the end of this police chase that started around 2:45.
And I just want to acknowledge the officers there obviously just gave themselves a pat on the back. This is how you want something like this to end. Again, we've been mentioning it has been a very tense time for our law enforcement here in Houston. So, of course, when they can pull over a suspect like this safely and handcuff him, this is great news. This is something good to see.
All right, and we want to go back up to Dawn really quick. And Dawn, it looks like the truck actually got stopped on some kind of concrete barrier there, but it looks like he was still trying to get away from police, and we didn't actually see the pit maneuver that those officers did because the trees obstructed our view from seeing that. What did you see from your vantage point?
Well, they did get him on the ground. And I'll tell you, my heart's beating fast, too, because our officers, I don't know how they do what they do, and I pat them all on the back for a great job here. Nobody got hurt. There were no other accidents involved with this chase. We don't know why, but I'm sure that we're going to find out very soon now why they're pursuing this guy in this pickup truck, this modified pickup truck out here in northwest Harris County. But to give you an idea of how many police were chasing him, there's a kind of an eye view of all of the cars here, almost a dozen police cars. And let's not forget HPD Airborne out here. The Fox unit has been with us all this time, guiding the officers and when they would lose him temporarily. But it didn't take long. We finally got him on the ground and got him into custody, and this looks like this is over with great results at the very end, and we're all thankful for that.
Oh boy, Don, I tell you, yeah, for a second there, you almost do stop to breathe because it's so intense and you fear for these officers, but thankfully a great situation. We're going to keep an eye on this. We're going to take a quick break and we will be right back.
This is quite a busy Wednesday afternoon. More breaking news coming from Sharpstown Mall. This is a look at that scene. The mall has been shut down after